Greetings everybody. Today we are going to learn about the correct way to spread democracy. Democracy, of course, being the M1A1 main battle tank in armoured warfare. It sits, if you'll let me go through my exhaustive tank list, I didn't ask for money or anything, to this Tier 8 MBT. The M1A1 is, well, if you've seen my M1A2, it is basically the same when coming to retrofit slots and how it plays. It is a very upgradable tank, able to suit any style of playlist because it has 2 universal slots, 1 firepower and 1 armor, which I've only upgraded to the 2nd level. It has a very fast firing and relatively accurate gun, and it doesn't have that many weak spots comparable to other tanks of its tier. The Ariete being able to shoot all the way over there, and anti-tank missiles in there, turret ring over there. Let me quickly turn Facebook off since it's pissing me off right now. Of course, weak spots. The Leo 2A5 having that driver's hatch over there, turret ring, and it is getting a gunner's weak spot in that sight at some point. And then the T90, of course, having that entire lower glacis being a weak spot, the driver's hatch. The Type 98 lower weak spot, some parts of the turret. It's a very weak tank. While the M1A1 comes relatively weak spot free, although it is relatively easy to hit that driver's hatch. But thanks to the amount of universal slots you get with crew stacking and the fully upgradable crew as well as energy drink, this tank traverses very nicely and allows you to wiggle your ass and bounce quite a lot of enemy shots. Like I was saying, my universal slot retrofit has gone somewhat to reload. So we have an augmented breech lock, an intercom systems Mark III, and an advanced thermal sleeve. If I wanted to go full reload, I would put the Kevlar wiring in for an additional 5% crew boost, and I would keep the thermal sleeve. But the augmented breech lock is one of the best retrofits in the game, meaning that your largest circle will be shrunk by 15%. Like that goes for on the move and everything. Of course, if you really wanted to, you could give yourself the full firepower slot by giving yourself, where is it? Chrome barrel lining, enhanced shell materials, and augmented breech locks, meaning that your minimum accuracy circle, aka the inner circle, the smallest one, will be decreased by 15%. Your maximum accuracy circle will be decreased by 15%, and thanks to enhanced shell materials, your moving accuracy will be increased by 22.50%. All the while, this giving you a roughly 12% reload bonus and a 5% damage bonus. So, like I said, this is one of the most upgradable tanks in the game according to your playstyle. Reload, accuracy, damage, while not recommended due to the shell's relatively low damage compared to the T90, the Type 98 and the Ariete, can still be enhanced. I like to go with Freya because she's cute and she's a girl. Like me, although you wouldn't know by the voice. Freya having the 20% ammo swap speed increased, and of course my loader, when I get them fully upgraded, will also have his 20% increase, meaning that my shells, when swapping from a fully loaded shell to the other one, will have a minus, will be reduced by 40%, meaning that a shell say for instance my shells normally load at 10%, well my shells normally reload in 10 seconds, swapping to say heat from armor piercing will mean that my shells reload in 6 seconds. However, since my M1A1 reloads in 5.36 seconds, this means the shells can be reloaded in a little more than 3 to 3.5 seconds. Meaning that if you spot a nasty AFE coming around the corner, doing 700 damage to his face instead of 550 can be a very big game changer, especially when it's something concerning like a tier 7 AFE. Alright, armour. It's nothing really special. It has quite a thick turret and a well placed hull. The upper glacis is basically impenetrable due to the armour. It's got a solid lower glacis and the turret is very solid as well. You can hit that for damages, I think. Not that, of course. Um, Although I think some anti-tank missiles can go through that armor, so tier 8 and tier 9 and tier 10 anti-tank missiles, be aware of. They can go through your armor at times, and even some armor piercing rounds. The Armata and most of the T9 MBTs will be able to penetrate this tank frontally in the lower bases and perhaps the turret. But it is a very, very, very solid tank. The front is solid, however the sides are a little weaker. 287mm only around there and in some areas, and of course that massive engine can mean that autocannons will absolutely shred the shit out of your tank. The rear being also flimsy as fuck. Seriously, don't rely on that rear armour. It's very, very, very weak. But this is a very frontal head-on MBT. And yeah, it's pretty damn good. Other things to note is that the tank cannot carry high explosive. It can carry up to 48 rounds of ammunition. I go with a 3-to-1 mix of armor piercing compared to heat, because when you need to deal damage to weak spots, well, weak spots being spots you can hit at a full minimum damage, or even less, I tend to use AP. Gets the full 3 crew members, so if you want to go for maximum reload stacking, swap out the augmented breech block with Kevlar wiring, keep the advanced thermal sleeve, and you're good to go. Alright, let me just find a game that I was playing with Barbarossa earlier. There we go. Barbarossa being a Czech Republic and Slovakian administrator, admin, community manager, moderator, person. This was a game in which we played after our T90s. Well, no, it wasn't our T90s. I was in my T90 and Barbarossa was in his M1A1. And we both switched to M1A1. And we will show you in this replay how to spread democracy across the free world, the dictatorships, and of course those oil-rich countries. Mainly tier 9 match, well, kind of a 50-50 tier 8, tier 9. 2 artillery at either team, although we kind of do have the auto-loaders, and they have the Paladin and the Panther Howitzer. Other things to note is that we have less T90 MSs, but we have a Draco and an M1A, and of course if that Draco gets behind anything, well, it might as well be dead. I told Barbarossa we are heading straight for the middle. The middle being this area around here. Since the last game we played, that seemed to go rather well. So I was like, okay, here we go. My M1A1 probably being somewhat superior to Barbarossa's. I think his is kind of stock. Not sure what he did with that armor retrofit, although it's questionable if he actually upgraded or not. I'm going to put it quickly at 4x speed here. The M1A1 for 70-ton tanks does accelerate rather quickly, but to be honest, the most thing I like about it is its traverse speed of the hull and the turret. So of course me and this Leopard 2A6 were like, ooh, do I shoot this, do I shoot this, do I shoot this? We get hit by artillery slightly. I didn't do any damage to that Leopard 2A6, though those things are very, very, very mean. That M1A2 Abrams over there, he isn't. I shot that little gunner's sight weak spot. Didn't do much damage, although, well, I did almost 300 damage there. If you can reliably do 300 damage with your AP shots, although that's half, you will eventually kill the enemy or force them to disengage. And when it comes to having one less gun on the field, that can make all the difference. Barbarossa getting hit in the side over there. At the moment, it's just a frontal engagement, and I'm just wiggling my tank because at the moment they're all aiming for my driver's hatch. You can see right there, that little marker thing. Artillery keeps aiming for Barbarossa. They probably want to kill the super admin first. And at the moment, I was trying to look for if I could shoot that 2A6, and I see that M1A2. I'm just like, oh, go away from me, get away from me, get away from me. The A2, I think, yeah, see, they're all aiming for that driver's hatch over there. This is probably a very dicey situation in the match in which we found a T90 and we were like, okay, kill it. I missed the T90 at first, think I miss him again. I think I was aiming for either the driver's hatch or the lower. Yeah, there we go, straight into the driver's hatch. I think sometimes shooting at the driver's hatch can cause a critical as well as a driver knocked out in a T90. And of course, if they get their driver knocked out, they heal the driver. He gets knocked out again. Those things suddenly become very, very, very slow. A little bit of wiggling on there to bounce their shots. The Abrams. Okay, I'll just press the insert button. Probably not a good idea. Where is the pause button? There it is. The Abrams, your maximum side scraping ability can be to there, where the ERA blocks it. Well, that's what I say they can actually. Any tank with reliable buff penetration can get through there. But as I would say, that is your maximum angle. Otherwise, any more, see Barbarossi can start to go straight into that non-ERA armor. So let's go again. Whittled down the T90 to a very insignificant amount of health. That Leopard 2A5 over there starting to feel like he doesn't have that many friends, and we've driven the M1A2 off. The M1A2 actually got down from his position to deal with our Leopard 2A5, and for now we've kind of got the enemy on the ropes. Barbarossa taking some pretty heavy damage over there, and this 2A5, I was like, okay, I'm gonna rush him. Well, I was like, okay, I'm going to rush him. I was like, Barbarossa, no, don't go there. I have the hit points. Let me do it. So, I think he penetrates me again at this point. I'm not sure if he does. Yeah, he does. And by then, I just want to kill him, basically. I think I bounce on his hull. Don't know what the fuck happened there. Then I get his turret, and I'm just like, okay, dude. Bang, you go. Of course, that A2 over there, I'm like, oh, he penetrates me again. I kill him. And then we see that there's a T90 racing back, so like, oh god, we gotta kill the MS. And this is where the M1A2's reload comes into play, because we can reload a hell of a lot faster than those 90 MS's can. Although we are on both very low health, and those 90 MS's can eat us. UFTG over there, he went into some kind of weird hold down position, but then our Challenger 2 over there decides like, nah, fuck it guys, for T and country I'm going in, so we decide to follow him. And of course that T90 MS over there, deprived of his invulnerability to us, because he's gotten flanked. I think he had a feeling of getting disengaged, and he aims for my side armor, but he hit the destroyed ERA, and that didn't give him a good penetration at all. I was quite amused to see that happen. So I'm like, oh my god, there's an M1A1 over there. So I decide to attempt to deal with him. We're still losing pretty badly on this one. I missed completely. I forgot to mention the M1A1 does have very good aim time and accuracy, and he basically hits me on the gunner sight. I hit him again, he hits me. Good! Have fun. And yes, I'm doing a video at the moment. Parents, how inconsiderate are they? So the last one I saw was this Ariete, and he can one-shot me at the moment, so I'm like, oh god, don't hit me. That little bit of wiggling saved me, so I drive myself into him. Do you remember that little weak spot I told you where that driver's, where those little driver's visions were? It's right there, and I can reload almost twice as fast as he can. So I'm like, oh, he gets me again. I'm just like, die, Ariete, die. And I probably would have killed him there, but oh well. It happens. Barbarossa is facing versus the M1A1, and this is where I make a critical mistake. I go straight for that M8 ADS. He gets a shot at the tire turret, and bang. Well, this video kind of shows how weak the side armor can be. The incredible aim time, which allowed me to pull off some very good shots. The accuracy, and of course the frontal armor, which meant many enemies, combined with my wiggling, meant that they couldn't hit that driver's hatch as often as they could be. Alright, that sums it up for my M1A1 review. I hope you enjoyed it, and remember, America doesn't always lose, because we get the oil in the end.